Hello and welcome to another Heart Moto video. In today's video we're going to be installing some additional SHAD luggage to the Honda NC750X. Okay, welcome back to the channel. So I have my SHAD side cases. These are the SH23 and the fixing kit for the NC750X. So basically, prior to me starting my channel, I'd already had the top box installed on my bike. So if you want to see how that install is done, we've done an installation on Ed's Kawasaki Z650RS, which is very, very similar in terms of fixing the plate. It's pretty much identical, really. So on the NC, to fix the top box rails, all you have to do is take the grab handles off, and it comes in two parts, you know, each rail. Bolt that down and put the handles back in place. It's very, very simple. So if you haven't got the top box on your bike and you only want the side cases, in the kit I'll show you in a moment, you do get fixing plates. So basically the principle is the same. Lift the grab handles off, put the plates in situ, and then basically bolt down with the handles in place. It's as simple as that. And then basically we'll proceed as normal. Okay, so we've gone on through the checklist, and I've gone through everything that comes with the kit. So basically what I've done, all the nuts and bolts and washers, I've grouped them all together on how they should be fitted to the rails. Hopefully you can see that there. So basically there's 3 washers, a locking nut and a bolt. So we have 4 of those, 2 for either side. We have the longer one, this is for the exhaust, this one here, and a spacer. So we have 2 washers, a spacer and a locking nut. And this one, that's on for the other side, and that one basically goes through the rear foot peg. So right, let's move on and offer up the first rail to the bike. What I will do with all of these fixings as well is add a bit of grease as well, because obviously there'll be parts that will be inaccessible once they're installed, so basically just to protect them from the elements over the coming years and months. Okay, so let's start to remove the exhaust bolts. So basically we're going to need 2 12mm sockets. So basically have those ready here. So you can either use 2 sockets like I've got here, or a socket and a spanner. So I've popped a towel on as well, with all the best will in the world. Don't want to drop any bolts or damage the hugger, so that's just there to protect the hugger. So if I just bring you in a little bit closer now, just to show you those. So basically there's one on the front and one on the rear. So basically just going to slide that bolt out, slide the new one in, so we're ready for the side casing rail. There we go. Now it's pretty tight. Like I say, you want to make sure the bike is nice and secure. I've got mine, like I say, on the centre stand. So basically the rear nut is off now, and then what we need to do is just wind this one back out to remove the OEM bolt. The exhaust should be pretty secure, but what I'll do is, before I take the bolt all the way out, just put my hand in underneath, just make sure it doesn't drop. Right, so that is pretty stable. I won't put any pressure on the can, because it will move slightly, but as long as you're careful, that's not going to go anywhere. Right, so this is the the bolt for the exhaust. So if we refer to our paperwork, yeah, so basically that's M8 by 80. So you get one of those. So that's your M8 bolt there. So that'll be 80 mil long, and then the 60 mil will be for the foot peg on the other side. Okay, so before we put this into place, I'm going to grease everything up. Like I say, because if we ever need to remove anything, hopefully that will help to in terms of keeping the elements off of it. I will say that the fixings look of decent quality. I'm using a proper automotive grease here. Right, so there's the original bolt and washer off the exhaust hanger. So again, you know, don't discard this. Always keep it in a safe place. You know, just in case you want to return the bike back to original. You know, if you ever upgrade to a newer model, then you know, and you want to take the racks with you, then you've always got that. I will add this system will fit from the 21 model right up to the current 2025 model as well. So if you have got a 23 model, 24, whatever, and you're thinking of upgrading to the newer bike, this system will fit, or the system, you know, that you've got, if it's a SHAD one, should fit the new bike. Okay, so just show you there, you get a nylon locking nut with all of these, so you're not going to need any thread lock, any Loctite or anything like that. So basically you're good to go. So what I'm going to do on the existing rail here, where the holes are, I'm just going to offer up some grease on the front of there and on the back there, because obviously once the new plate goes in place, water could lie, so we don't want to encourage any corrosion or anything like that. I mean, the product is well made, it is powder coated, it does look very durable, but preventative maintenance, shall we say. Okay, so let's bring you in a little bit closer again. So all the bolts on here have now been greased up and ready. Just to show you, the bolt on the exhaust hanger is now in situ, and the fixings here I've now greased up and ready to fit the new rail. So if I just quickly show you, so there's two holes here, two little plastic covers. So if you need to remove the grab rail, is basically just pop the seat up, pop those covers off, undo those bolts, and then this just lifts off. You slide the plates in place, and then away you go. It's very, very simple. But like I say, we don't need that because we have the top box already in place. So right, let's crack on. Right, I've just offered that up by hand on this part here that fits in behind the footrest there. Does look pretty snug. There is a tiny bit of clearance, so I think we should be good to go. But what I'm going to do is just do everything up by hand, finger tight, before we torque everything up. Right, so basically we have a washer on the outside, washer on the inside, and then a nut and washer on the back. I think what I'm going to have to do is just get a spanner out, because there's no way we're getting a socket in behind there. So let's dig the spanners out before we go any further. Okay, so we're going to need a 13mm spanner to go on the back of the rail there. So basically, washer in front, washer in behind, offer it up to the plate, and then a nut and washer on the back. So another beauty of using the grease as well, it does help to keep things in place when you're assembling products as well. I won't lie, it is a little bit tricky. It's probably one of those, it might be easier to install when it's all off the bike, but right, that's that now, just finger tight. What I'll do is I'll bring you in a little bit closer so you can see that. All the excess grease and things like that we'll wipe off afterwards. Right, so hopefully you can see here now. So we have the bolt, washer in behind, washer on the back. I know you're probably not going to see it, but a nut in behind. Same on the front there. That's basically just offered up loose. So we'll now fit the nut and washer on the back of the exhaust hanger and line everything all up, and then we'll start to torque everything up. Right, let me just bring you in a little bit closer again. Now, I'll just shine the little torch in there. Now, hopefully you can see here I've put a couple of washers in, stainless steel washers, because what I found, the plate here was fouling the back of the footrest. So I didn't like that. So basically, yeah, I've installed just a couple of shims in there just to bring it in slightly. We'll see when I offer up the boxes and everything. I don't think it's going to have any effect in terms of the fitment, the installation, or anything like that. I just wasn't happy with it right up against there, rubbing against there, because it's just the way I am, I'm afraid. It just didn't look right to me. So yeah, so something to perhaps bear in mind if you're installing one of these. You may have to perhaps put a stainless steel washer in behind there as well. So right, so let's crack on. Let's just tighten things up. Again, we'll do it nice and gentle to start with. Make sure everything's all lined up nicely before we proceed. Okay, so that's the top two just done hand tight at the moment. What I'll do is I'll torque those up at the end with a torque driver. That feels pretty sturdy already. I'd say very, very sturdy. So what we'll do is we'll just wipe off the excess grease along the top here. And then I'll just bring you in a little bit closer. Washer in the front, washer in behind, and then nut and washer on the back. Same on this side here. Again, this is all done hand tight at the moment. Nothing's torqued up. And then down in here, hopefully you can see the two additional washers I've put in, the spacer, and then we just need to tighten that one up at the back. I don't know why they've got such a long bolt on this one. Not really needed, but obviously the original one wouldn't be long enough. So bit of overkill, but there we are. Better that way, I suppose. Right, let's crack on. Right, so hopefully you can see now I've tightened this up, how close that is to fouling the back of the heel guard on that rear pillion footrest. So I honestly think fitting those two stainless steel washers aren't going to be a problem at all. But I'd rather it have a bit of clearance there than rubbing up against it. You know, because obviously, you know, vibrations and things like that over a period of time, you know, you can introduce like metal fatigue and things like that. I appreciate it's going to be a long time for it to do that, but I'd rather avoid it than it happening at all. Right, so I think what we'll do, before I proceed to go and fit the other rail on the other side, I'm going to offer up the case here and make sure everything all fits before we get too ahead of ourselves. Okay, right, little update for you. Now, let's refer to the instructions. Now, on the rail here, it shows this part, if you can see that there, that's on the rail that you fit to the bike. Now, when I opened up the cases, there was, inside the box, two of these. Now, basically, it all depends what box you're going to fit to your bike, because basically if you offer up the SH23 with this module in place, they won't lock onto the rail. So it wasn't until I opened up the second box that I found those inside, but there's nothing to refer to on the paperwork with regards to installing those. There's nothing in the box as well, there's no instructions at all. When you see it, it is pretty obvious, but yeah, so basically what I've had to do is just had to quickly pop the rails off. It's only a Phillips head that screws in the middle there that holds it onto the rail, so I've had to quickly pop the rail off, fit that back on, so I can now offer up the box to the rail. So as you can see, that is now fitted and secure. So yeah, let's bring you in a little bit closer. So I can show you. You do get an additional lock, so if you wanted to, I could change the lock on the top box. I'll be honest with you, I'm not too sure what to do at this stage. Right, so basically this slides that way, and then you can that's obviously to lock and unlock the mechanism. Okay, so hopefully you can see. So what let me do, let me get the additional light. Right, hopefully you can see without blinding you. This little mechanism here. So basically you slide that back, offer it up to the rail, and then you have to push down on the box, and then that will then lock into place like so. It's pretty stiff, I will be honest with you. It is very snug. So, but basically that's how it works. And then obviously shut the case down and then lock, just so. So for me, I mean, these 23s will be ideal. I don't need anything too big. It's just to give me a little bit extra space when I, if I've got my camera gear and bits and pieces with me, and if I want to, go further afield for a little bit longer, just gives me that little bit of flexibility to, take more stuff with me. Right, so I think what we'll do now, we're going to torque everything all up on the rails. I'm happy that that's now as it should be, and then we can move on to the other side. Okay, let me just bring you in for one last time on this side. I don't know if you can see down in there. What I've had to do is just put another tiny little spacer in because the box was just too tight to get on and off. So basically just needed to bring the outer rail this way slightly because it was very snug on this inner rail, and basically it made the mechanism very tight to get on and off. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly demonstrate that going on and off now. So basically offer the box up like so, open up, slide the mechanism across as before. Now that's now locked in place, look, nice and secure, and then push the tab, lift it back up, nice and simple. Now I'll be honest with you, if I hadn't have put those extra spacers in down in here, that would have been a bit of a nightmare to get the boxes on and off. You could get them off, but they were very tight. So like I say, just for full transparency really, I mean, I'm sure it might be just manufacturing tolerances or something like that, where it might be just marginally out by a mil or two. So yeah, I've had to put two spacers in either side. I'm going to do the same on the other side regardless. Job done then. And like I say, back down here on the exhaust, two little shims in there as well to keep that away from that plate there, from damaging the back of the heel guard. So that is that now done. Like I say, this was a little bit of an oversight on my part. In my defence, there was nothing in the paperwork to say that you had to change this. If you have the SH23, you do, because basically the locking tab secures in there. So again, I think it all depends what boxes you're using. So check that before you fit the rails, because like I say, I had to take the rail off to swap this over because the screw's on the back there. There's no way you're getting in down there with any tool. So, right, other side, let's crack on. Right, so just before we move on to the other side, now I was looking at the bracket that's supplied if you don't have the top box. So if I bring you in closer, so basically that would sit like so underneath the grab rail. So basically, if you're using just the bracket and don't have the top box, then your side cases won't be fouling on this area here. So that is why I've had to put those two little shims in, just to pull it out slightly, just so it doesn't foul that, so I can get the box on and off nice and easily. So yeah, just a little heads up really. If you've got a top box using the side kit, like I say, might be manufacturing tolerances, I'm only guessing. I've just had to pull it out marginally. Yours may be okay, but let me know in the comments if anybody's fitted this and had a similar issue, or you're going to fit it to your NC. I won't let it put you off. Like I say, it's nicely made. It's sturdy. The finish is good. I've been thrilled to bits with my top box. It's like I say, I won't let it put you off purchasing the product. It is a considerable saving over the Honda one, but that's just something you need to bear in mind. Right, now let's do the other side. Okay, so on this side of the bike, principle is pretty much the same. Locating at the top here as on the other side. Again, I should put the spacers in because I think we'll still have the same issue where it's going to foul that rail there. But on this one, obviously there's no exhaust hanger, so what we need to do is remove the foot peg. So basically there's a split pin down in underneath here. I'll bring you in a little bit closer. Hopefully you can see that. That is down in there. So basically we need to pop that out, pop the bolt out, and then replace it with the one that's supplied. So I'll crack on with that now and see how we go. I suspect with the side cases on, it may affect the handling slightly. What I'll probably do is just go for a test ride initially with some bits and pieces in the boxes, equal weight either side, and see if we have to increase the preload by one click. Yeah, as long as we have even weight either side, we should be okay. Right, let's get this pin out. That's it, there we go. Right, make sure I pick those bits up. Don't want any unnecessary punctures. So as before, I'm just going to grease everything up. Keep the original parts safe, just in case we return it back to factory. Okay, so I've greased up all the nuts and bolts, offered everything up to the bike, and basically we just need to now is just put the remainder of the nuts and washers on. If you've got someone who can give you a hand, give them a shout. It is a little bit fiddly this side, trying to get this plate in behind the back of the pillion foot peg, but like I say, just a little bit of perseverance, take your time, it's not the end of the world. I have read on forums that some people said the bolts foul the bodywork. I've not had any issues with that at all. It is a little fiddly. I think if you've got huge hands, then you might struggle a little bit, but I can't say it's been an issue. What I've done on these bolts, I've torqued everything up to 10 Newton meters. That's pretty tight. Okay, right, just leave a little bit of play in that, as you can see at the minute, until we start and tighten these ones up. Just a reminder to those of you that haven't seen the Oxford Mint giveaway video, that runs until the end of July, 31st of July. So if you want to win some of the Oxford products, Mint cleaning product, check that video out. We have all sorts of cleaning equipment products to give away, so please do check that out. Right, again, so before we get too carried away, what I'm going to do is offer the box up to the rail, make sure it fits on and off nice and easily, and then we can torque everything up. Okay, so that's everything now tightened up by hand. So what I'm going to do is offer the box up and see how we get on. The camera does keep cutting out because it's getting very hot in here, a bit like myself really. So let's just crack on and get this done, and see how we fare. There we go. Job's a good one. Make sure we can get it off okay. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely brilliant. So right, what we need to do now is just torque everything up to 10 Newton meters. It doesn't say or anything like that in the handbook what you should torque it up to. I'm just going from experience really, from other jobs I've done in the past. It'd always pay you perhaps after a ride or two just to double check all your fixings, just to make sure nothing's rattled loose. Can't see no reason why it would. Looks like they've got the nylon lock nuts on these. If you haven't got a torque wrench, I would recommend getting one. What I'll do is I'll put some links down in the description where you can purchase a torque wrench. You don't have to get mega expensive, just something that will do the job basically. There we go. Make sure we can still operate the peg. Yep, that's fine, look. Right, I think what we'll do now is I'll get the bike outside and we'll do a walk around so you can have a real good look at it. In all honesty, I'd say it's fairly straightforward install. If you haven't got the top box, it'd be even easier because obviously you just use the plates and away you go. With the top box, you do need to put the extra spacers in behind this rail here and on the exhaust hanger, because it will foul the pillion foot peg. So, but apart from that, very, very straightforward. Right, let's crack on. Right, there we have it. The Honda NC750X with its SHAD, SH23 side cases, SH46 top box. Installation complete. Right, I must say I'm very, very pleased. Looks like a mini Goldwing now, I think. Just a rough calculation in my head. I think the storage capacity on this bike now is 117 litres. I'll double check that with the box specs and everything, but I'm sure that's what it's going to be, which is pretty impressive. So let's have a delve down. Hopefully you can see now in the daylight. I suppose you have a mount there. You have the two mounts here and here, and open up the lid. Basically that locks on that mechanism there, which basically just puts a pin into the little module that we had to replace, that wasn't on the Destructions. There's the shims there just to bring it out, a couple of mil, and that's it really. Then on this side we have the foot peg, so basically you remove the split pin in underneath, a washer on top, washer on bottom, 60mm bolt, nylon lock nut. I must admit they do go a little bit overkill on the size of the bolts, but there we are. It's not the end of the world. And again, we can see down here. Yeah, I'm really pleased. Really pleased. They don't do storage bags for these top boxes. I shall probably use some Oxford dry bags, to be honest with you. But they are waterproof, these cases. Like I say, I've been in biblical weather with this one on, and it's not let any moisture in at all. So let me know in the comments below what you think. I think it looks superb. Mini Goldwing, that's what I think. At a fraction of the cost. So like I say, this will now allow me to travel further for longer, which will please the wife, I'm sure. And you know, allow me to carry more of my camera gear and things like that when I go out on trips. So I think the only thing I need to do really is go for a little test ride, see if it alters the handling in any way. I'm sure it won't. We may have to go one click up on the preload, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it if we need to do it. So yeah, there we are. Right, as always, I do hope you found this video of interest and of use. I'll be very grateful for a like and a subscribe. Please remember to check out the Oxford Mint giveaway video. And as always, I do hope you can join me again in future videos. Thanks again for watching. Cheerio!